Ahoy, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Here I am. Bit unusual for me on a Friday night, but I have to go to Florida. So, yeah, not going to be around this weekend. Anyway, sucks working for a living, doesn't it? Still, Donald's here to cheer us up, if if anyone missed this lot. Who's in the chat? Hello, everyone. John Hunter, now then. Kate, thanks for moderating. Joe, hey up. Pylord, Resistant, Geordie. John Higginson, Hams, now then. Hello, everyone. What's the date? It's the 18th of October. Not long till the Core birthday, my birthday, and Captain Cook's birthday. All the good things happened in October. Although, I think he's got two, and I'm getting confused because the calendar changes. It's a bit weird, that one, isn't it? Anyway, to start us off today, let's have a look at five gags by the Orange Oracle at this big dinner they have. That's a tradition, apparently. Interesting to note about it is, I read that every election cycle, it's customary for both candidates to actually turn up at this and, do a little bit of mockery and have a bit of crack, Apparently, Kamala didn't show up because she can barely string a sentence together and she's got the charisma of a rattlesnake. But so unfortunately, she didn't rock up. But Donald did, and he was comedy gold. Some of these jokes actually did make me laugh. Obviously, he's just reading them off a bit of paper, so someone's wrote them for him, but they were good. So this is worth watching. Here, check it out.
Crazy for saying that the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods. But then I met Tim Walz.
That's a good one, because Tim Walz, they've started calling him Tam on Tim, so that's a good gag, innit? Suits him. Some of them actually were good, but the best ones last, so you'll have to wait for that one.
Well, I'd better wrap up because Mayor Adams told me earlier that I needed to make this one very quick, especially the city has reserved this room for a large group of illegal aliens coming in from Texas. There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris? Doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me.
That's pretty good. I have to give hats off to, what's his name? Chuck Schumer, for managing to not crack a smile during either of them. Because they were quite good. That last one was funny. And whoever the old crone sat next to him is, she's laughing. Chuck Schumer, no, stone-faced the whole time. So that's well done, Chuck. You've got a poker face, mate. You should start playing that professionally.
A major issue in this race is childcare, and Kamala has put forward a concept of a plan. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep him away. That's a net.
For those of you that don't follow US politics voraciously, Doug had an affair with the nanny. I think it was his first marriage. Basically, like all of them, they're all sexual deviant scum, which is why they love judging you, isn't it? I've told you this loads of times. The reason people are woke is because it's like a trapdoor spider camouflaging itself. I could reel them off. If I was to use Google and make a video about it, I bet you I could name a top 50 sexual deviant, degenerate perverts that have openly campaigned for the Democrat Party. Because if you're a really awful person, obviously you want to hide that from people. So obviously, if you're like a serial abuser of women, a surprise sex enjoyer, a pedo or something awful, a Harvey Weinstein. I mean, ask yourself that question. Who would Harvey Weinstein have been promoting? If it never came out about Harvey Weinstein, who was he going to be flag waving for during this election? It's going to be Kamala, isn't it? Because they all are. The run up to the election's been unbelievable. Like every singer, actor, producer, director, they're always flag waving for Kamala Harris, and it's because they're guilty. They have so many skeletons in the closet, they're going to fall over. And that's the whole reason why they're constantly going about it. There was a great cartoon about it from Stone Toss where there's all the different predators in nature using camouflage. And in the bottom corner, there's like a creepy beardy bloke with sweating. And he's got one of them daft pink hats on and a I'm with her t-shirt. And he's like, creeping on all the women. And Douglas Murray talked about it, didn't he? Saying that he was at a party, some fundraiser or something. He said there's like 4 blokes there. And they're all like, yeah, Orange Man, bad, yeah. And then as soon as the lasses walked off, one of them was like, bro, this place is stacks with minge, man. Oh, although I am paraphrasing, I don't think many Americans use the term minge. Maybe they said pink snapper. Loads of pink snap around here. Anyway, what's his last one? Let's see what his last one is.
Nasty one. Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president.
Brilliant. And he's like most long-term Democrat senators. He's probably a pervert. I wouldn't put it past him wearing women's underwear on weekends. So yeah, brilliant. That was fantastic. Ripping the piss out of them because they are the worst people imaginable. That's why they're all in for Kamala. I mean, he's a good example. Look who was flag waving for today. David Baddiel. He ticks every box, doesn't he? And he's even, which is something I thought of that nobody brought up in the comments. He's even in anywhere, isn't he? I didn't know he was a US citizen, but obviously he is, because all these rich people collect passports, don't they? They've all got like 6 nationalities, because it's easy if you're rich. If you're rich, you can get citizenship wherever you want. So that's what they all do. So David Baddiel ticks every box, and he's a lefty millionaire, lovey passport collector, and he's like, oh yeah, that gets my vote. I'm a dual citizen. Doesn't even live in the States. Never comes over here. Like I said, I didn't vote in the Brexit referendum out of principle. Like I could have done because I'd only moved to the States like a year earlier or whatever it was. But I didn't vote for out of principle because I was thinking, well, I live over here now. I probably shouldn't really get into that Brexit. It was a contentious debate and there was good arguments put forward by both sides, which is another thing that I keep pointing out. When they arrogantly... It's bigoted almost, like it's like a smear of poor people. But like, oh yeah, you didn't know what you were talking about. You didn't really know what you were voting for. Like as if we're all thick as 2 short planks. Everybody knew what they were voting for. Everybody got literature through the door and everybody campaigned about it for years. And the whole reason that they put it on the ticket was because everybody was badgering the Conservative Party about putting in a Brexit referendum. It was a thing that came up for years and years and years, and everybody knew plenty about it. And as soon as the vote didn't go their way, they said, oh, yeah, well, you didn't really know what you were voting for. We did. We all read the books, thanks. We all read the pamphlets in the newspapers. We knew exactly what we were voting for. So it's the same old shit. And yeah, David Baddiel ticks every box, obviously. What a rat bastard. Another one that made me laugh today was the Brewdog founders. Did you read that one? Brewdog. I've always disliked them because they're a woke company. Whinging about capital gains tax, because funny old thing, like all socialist dickheads, they love talking a good game on the skin, but as soon as they've actually got a business to run, then they change the tune quite quickly, don't they? I'll share this one. Brewdog founder says entrepreneurs will abandon the UK if capital gains tax increases. James Watt told Sky News an increase in the tax rate will do far more damage to our economy as the Chancellor prepares for the 30th of October budget. As I keep telling you, it's going to go tits up fast. It's going to go tits up fast in the UK. But again, we knew it was going to happen. Accelerationist, right? I'm already there now. We knew exactly what was going to happen. Let's see what he has to say, shall we? Just out of morbid curiosity. Christ, 8 minutes long. I'm not watching the whole thing of that.
Good morning to you, James. Let's just start, first of all, on what your objections are. Why do you think potentially increasing capital gains tax is a bad idea?
Well, thank you for having me. And firstly, I think the government have got such an unenviable task. They've been dealt a terrible hand after...
Yeah, and obviously he's starting with that because he's a screaming lefty arsehole. Oh, they've been dealt a terrible hand. No, they're economically illiterate is what they are because they're socialists. And this guy's a typical socialist. He's, yeah, and we're back to creepy guys with beards. Weird that, isn't it? Weird, creepy guys with beard. You don't see them very often, do you? These guys always espouse. It's typical. It's socialism for everybody else, but not for me. Capitalism for me. When I'm a capitalist, I get to keep all my money. But when I'm not, then I want it off you. Because it's all theft. Theft. It's not theft. It's working for a living. The fact is, this isn't even something that people pay attention to. Anyone who pays attention to current events, the argument's already been won. Because it's the bedrock of the Irish economy. The Irish have got so much money now compared to 30 or 40 years ago because the Irish made themselves a tax haven. They dropped a few points off everybody around them in the EU. And now that's why all the big companies go through Ireland. I mean, everyone's aware of that, aren't they? So it's not really an argument we need to have. There's a reason why when I get any money off YouTube, the payment into your bank says Google Ireland. Because all the big companies set up in Ireland, off the top of my head, I can name a few. Dell, they set up in Ireland. Google set up in Ireland. Blizzard, Activision set up in Ireland. Tons of them. All the big conglomerates set up in Ireland because the corporate tax is lower and there's always somewhere to go to that's cheaper. So if we had any sense, we'd say, oh, okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to drop our corporation tax to, 1% less than the Irish have it. That would be a sensible thing to do, wouldn't it? I'm sure that the government, because they're all bent, have actually been taking money off the Irish government or something, because to me it seems like, that would be an obvious win as soon as you came into power. Like, as soon as the Tories found out that the Irish were hoovering up global corporations, you just go, okay, we'll drop our corporation tax, whatever it is that the Irish have set it at that's pulling in all this talent from all around the world, we'll go 0.5% lower. Easy. I mean, that's how you do it. But, yeah, so it's not really a conversation we need to hear out, but I'll listen to the creepy bent brewer for another 30 seconds.
14 years of Conservative government. Taxes have never been higher. We've never had more debt, and the level of services we receive for those taxes have never been worse. So they're in a very, very difficult situation. And my advice to them would be just don't make it worse. So an increase in capital gains tax, I think, is going to have so many bad consequences for the UK economy. And I think it's going to lead to less tax in general. Firstly, so many fantastic entrepreneurs, founders, job creators are simply going to leave the UK. We're going to see a mass exodus, especially those in the tech sector. Secondly, for me, this is going to lead to less tax overall. It's people who start businesses. They also pay national insurance, PAYE for their team, corporation.
Yeah, all the shit we know. So the difference is they'll let a camp socialist make the argument, and he'll probably just be flexing his muscles to try and get a special deal off the government, won't he? Like he always... well, I'll tell you why, Rich, because they frequently masturbate on public transport, shackle girls to the radiators in the basements, wear women's underwear, and generally gallivant down the street dressed in a gimp suit. Reasons like that, you see. Reasons like that, you see. Jason, I've got some Rington's tea bags for you. Oh, get in. Want out else? You can get me a packet of bourbons. I like them. Or custard creams. They don't sell them out in America. As I've said, send me a message to MATTYRM. That's mattyrm@gmail.com. And I'll send you my address. And put a return address on there. And I'll send you some bootneck shite. All right? You can't say fairer than that. Cheers, Jason. What else have we got? So anyway, there's not really any point in reading the rest of the stories. We all know exactly what's going to happen. Brewdog said that entrepreneurs will correctly said that they'll abandon Britain if they put capital gains tax up, and they will. He said it'll do far more damage to our economy and deal a hammer blow at the prosperity of every family. Yeah, but to be fair, the majority of the public did vote for a socialist government. So, yeah, at least they can expect to be getting dealt a hammer blow to the prosperity of every family. Again, it's hard to feel sorry for everyone, isn't it, when so many people voted for Labour? It is. But the downside is you all get hammered. That's how averages work, statistics. Brewdog is a war company. I've said this for years. They were asking for loads of donations a few years ago. My mate Mal, who's a squaddy, he was, in backing them on Kickstarter or some shit. And I was like, don't give them your money. Brewdog are like chippy Scottish communists, and they always have been. So I've been aware of their shenanigans for years, and I've never given them a penny, and I don't drink their beer. But even if it was the best beer in the world, I wouldn't drink it, but it's not a shite anyway. I had a pint of one of their IPAs called Elvis Juice once. Someone gave me a can of it at a party, and it tastes like rat piss. So, yeah, they're not getting anything off me, and they never would do. The point I'm getting at is, though, they're just hypocritical socialists like they all are. So, yeah, there is that. Speaking of ludicrous hypocrisy, did you see the video I've just put out about the cheating bastards? I mean, it's actually unbelievable. Let me see if I can find a few tweets. I don't want to talk about it too much because I made a pre-recorded video about it, but I will touch on it because it's a big deal and I can riff a bit more on a live stream. Generally, you get in the shit if you use foul language, or I believe I did call for someone to airstrike the Houses of Parliament. The US Air Force to airstrike the Houses of Parliament. I'm hoping that they realise that that is a joke calling for the United States Air Force to carpet bomb the closest ally, but you never know, do you? These stories have made me laugh as well. There's one I'll cover, actually, that I haven't made a video about. So, this lass getting jailed for the race hate post, right? There's not too much to say about it because I've made plenty of videos about it. Most of sensible YouTubers, and everybody's aware of it, but rather than focus on the meat of it, which we all already know, which is that this is an explicitly racist law that only targets the native inhabitants of the UK and completely gives a pass to everybody else. Totally leaving that aside, one thing I'd like to point out is the bizarre hypocrisy of the left crowing over it. This guy, look, the bear. The dildo of consequence has arrived, thoroughly unlubed, and the sentencing remarks make it abundantly clear that it was absolutely right on target this time. Now, before everyone jumps on the two-tier justice bandwagon, let me make one thing very clear right off the bat. What do you mean, bandwagon? Why is it a bandwagon? Everyone's been saying this for years. I think I've been talking about a two-tier justice system for about 4 years. I remember, it was about 3 or 4 years ago when a bloke got sentenced to 2 weeks in prison for having a piss in the street. Do you remember that one? Just because it happened to be near. They lied and said he urinated on a plaque to a policeman who got killed while he was on duty, and he didn't urinate on the plaque. He just urinated near it because he was pissed and he needed to squirt. And they jailed him for weeks for having a piss in the middle of the street. It's Britain. If you think people pissing in the street's a problem, go and live in the Netherlands, because if there's one thing that's a very British trait, it's blokes slagging in the street. It's been a thing for years. I'm not proud of it, but it's not something you should get sent to prison for. However, he got sent to prison because he's got the wrong opinions. And, yeah, well, he's not going to jail. He's not going to jail. I'll call it now. There's no way. Because the thing what you lot don't understand, right? Well, not you lot, some of you. Those of you that aren't black-pilled amongst my listeners, right? You're thinking that even though two-tier justice is obvious and it's been going on for years, you're thinking because they've just jailed her for 3 years, they have to jail Ricky Jones. And if you think that, you haven't been paying attention, because how many times have I told you? When they know that they control the judges, the courts, the civil service, the radio stations, the TV stations, the printed media, Silicon Valley, Google, YouTube, Facebook, The Guardian, Channel 4, The Independent, Sky News, etc., they don't think they have to be consistent because people will play cover up for them. So they massively amplify the stories that do their bidding, and they'll stomp on the stories that don't. Ricky Jones won't be going to jail. I'm telling you. They'll give him a suspended sentence, even though he went to trial, which is, I think I've ranted about this years ago as well. I told you this years ago, never, ever, ever plead guilty in this day and age. Back in the day when the justice system worked properly, they used to give you that as a carrot, saying you'd get a lenient sentence if you pleaded guilty. Now, definitely not. There is no point ever in pleading guilty if you end up in court, because it's expressly political. If you plead guilty and you've got the wrong politics, they will crush you. Everyone's pleading guilty, all these idiots. We were saying this for ages. Stop pleading guilty. Legal experts on the right have been saying it for years. Don't plead guilty. If you're one of these people who've got trumped up charges in the protests, and you end up in court for calling a police horse gay, you don't plead guilty because they don't care. They'll throw the book at you anyway. Ricky Jones will probably get off, just like all those climate protesters get off. And there's no, really, you couldn't expect to get off with it because the bank the rights. It's like they're doing for criminal damage when they throw shit on a painting or blockade a motorway, and then they get let off by the jury. So you're an idiot if you plead guilty. Meow Mood, thanks for the £2. We are aware at this stage that we are, definitely, 100%. So you don't plead guilty, first and foremost. Second of all, Ricky Jones ain't getting nicked. He's nowhere. Is he on remand? Is he on remand? I'm pretty sure he's not on remand. Are you certain about that? Let me Google it. Ricky Jones. Oh no, there's loads of them. Let's have a quick look. Denies encouraging. Here's a story about this dickhead. Let's have a look. Suspended. Told a crowd. He literally said, cut the throats and get rid of them. Get rid of them. Pleaded not guilty. The trial's been set for January next year, so ages away. And no, I don't think he's on remand. I'm pretty sure they'll let him go. Jimmy in Japan. The Yakuza support the bootneck. Take some laundered money. Oh, I prefer laundered money to clean money. Cheers, Jimmy. It spends better when George Osborne hasn't got his fingers on it. Although George Osborne, I'm showing my age there, hasn't been a chancellor for ages. But no, he'll get off. There's no way he's going to jail. No way. I'd bet the house on it. If they'll either find him not guilty. Yeah, there he is. I knew it. I'm pretty certain he's on bail. Well, they wouldn't keep him in jail. No way. He's getting off. He's getting off. I'm telling you. He'll be back. He'll be at work now. He'll be doing something behind the in the back door for Labour, won't he? He'll probably be out licking stamps for all the anti-Trump letters they're sending out over in North Carolina and Pennsylvania. Because again, I made a video about that. If you're not aware, they're trying to cheat. They're trying to cheat. Election interference is perfectly fine as long as they're doing it, apparently. In fact, let's have a look. I put that on Twitter as well. Look at this guy as well. I love how unfunny all the lefties are. This guy's saying, "Hey Elon, I blocked you because I hate you." And I was like, "Whoa, a chippy Scottish communist. You never see them online." This guy, I bet you wonder what Elon's balls taste like. Yeah, hilarious. My sides. Who's this knobhead? I'm contractually obliged to say all views my own. They're not though, are they? They're not though. There's the irony. I'm contractually obliged to say all views my own. Yeah, they're not though, are they? Because you're woke. So you get your views 100% pre-packaged and given to you by state-funded media. Your views aren't your own. Your views are the Guardians, the Independents. There's an ironic There's an ironic twist to the name, isn't it? The Independent. Independent of what? You get all of your fucking opinions off the government. These people are maniacs. They don't think for themselves. The people who call themselves left-wing nowadays are authoritarian statists. So, you like I said many times, you have to be impressed with just how amazing that coup has been, that silent coup by the controlling statists, because now the left are all pro-arms manufacturer. Like I've told you lot, at least Jeremy Corbyn, at least Jezza. You can slag off Jezza, but at least Jezza's actually stayed true to his socialist roots. You know, he's always praised the IRA because they're commies, and he's always slagging off the enemies of conservative capitalism wherever you find them. But the modern left, this woke thing, as Peter Richardson said, they've turned the Guardian into the Warmongers Gazette. Now the average Guardian reader loves a bit of war. They are constantly flag waving for the CEO of Boeing to get a new Jaguar. Like that's what they've managed with the left. So you have to be impressed. You have to be massively impressed with that. Hats off to them. Let's have a look at the BBC homepage for a change, shall we? He thought of himself as a king, the parties that led to Diddy's downfall. Yeah, well, I'm sure he'd be voting for Kamala as well, wouldn't he? If he wasn't getting indicted, he'd be on the campaign trail with her. Trump and Harris roast each other for a charity event. There's another one. She didn't turn up. Put that in the headline. Why doesn't the headline say Kamala Harris does not turn up for charity event? Not Harris sent in a video because she's just got no balls and she didn't turn up. North Korea sent in troops to fight with Russia. That's funny. What else? Judge blocks execution. God. These judges get above themselves on, they get in the way of everything. That's the real problem with Brexit. You know, I watched some trite debate on GB News between a Brexiteer and a Remainer, still whinging about it after all these years, saying that, oh yeah, why couldn't we deport anyone? And they were saying, oh, we have to stay in the EU, the European Court of Human Rights, or else our rights aren't fucking saved. And I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean our rights aren't saved? Like we didn't have any rights before we joined the EU. I think you'll find a great many of those socially liberal rights espoused by the likes of John Locke were secured by English people long before the Europeans were even thinking about it. Do you know how many centuries we went without a dictator? The Europeans were toppers with them. Quisling and Tito and Stalin and Mussolini and Adolf and Franco. You can reel them off all day long while we were happily toddling along on our own. And they're trying to make out now that the Europeans invented them. We invented them, thanks very much. But it's just lawfare constantly. You can't get anything done because you try and deport someone. And there's 27 activist lawyers and 50 activist judges lining up to throw a spanner in the works. I do believe that some of the Conservatives did want to deport people, but they've got it to the point where you physically can't because it's endless lawfare. You knew that with the state of things being how they are, they were going to get nowhere with the Rwanda plan. I'm certain some of the Conservative politicians did want to push through the Rwanda plan, but they can't. Oh my God, what's this one? Radio Genoa, let's have a look at this. A trans man converts. Holy shit. I love that. This fella's going to be, he's going to be copying the bloke from One Direction in about 3 days' time, trust me. One Direction. Yeah, well, if you're going to pick One Direction, it should be up. It's just some advice. So don't be following his example, trans man. So let's see what this fucking maniac's got to say, shall we?
Yes. I'm looking for a man who's at least 6'1", brown eyes, big nose, thick curly hair, hairy, just like furry, just like a carpet on his chest. Not a Zionist, from a Baba culture, Muslim or open to converting. I'm looking for a man.
It's got to be. It's got to be satire. Got to be. I bet you he takes that off and puts a MAGA hat on. There's no way. This is the maddest thing about being alive in this day and age, because you don't know what's real, do you? That you would think that's satire. But you can't tell in this day and age. Ron Politics is in. How you doing? Yeah, in it. That's amazing, that video. I love the way they're always picky as well, aren't they? 6'1". If I was that shit of a bird, I wouldn't be picky. I'd take anything. I'd be on there going, yeah, I just want some cock, little fat bloke, baldy. It's fine. I just want piping, right? I mean, I'm aware I'd be the worst trans woman ever. You know what I mean? I don't think most trans women have 2-inch hairs coming out of the nipples and a wiry back like the bootneck does. But I'm just saying, if I was a trans bird, I definitely wouldn't be that fussy. I've got to be 6'1", gentle curls to the hair, brown eyes. I'd just be like, yeah, I want to get smashed. I'd be like that smoking a Super King with like proper bad makeup on and stubble. I just want to get ragged all over by a geezer. It doesn't matter if he's fat and bald, as long as he's got a cock. So, yeah, brilliant. Love that. Lunatic. He'll be following Liam off the fucking roof shortly. In short order, won't he? So I love that one. Thanks for that, Ragnar. That's sent me that on Twitter. Fantastic. Next step. Look at that. I love the way they're all buzzing. Yeah, they're all buzzing. Yeah, that's what's coming, innit? Which is what I said, why the world's gone completely topsy-turvy. Like, you have no idea what's going on. I would assume that was satire, but no clue in this day and age. No clue. It's very, whoa, look at this one. There's a good one from Doors Designer, look. Kamala Harris's rally, 120,000. Elon's town hall, 6.6 million. It is worth clarifying what I've been saying about the election, right? Because some people seem to think that I think that Trump's got absolutely no chance. I have to give you the caveat, right? It's just going to, hopefully when I enlighten you about my thought process, it's just going to nail on just how much they're going to cheat. Because the point I keep making is, not that he's not going to be more popular, he's going to be far more popular. In fact, I can distill it down to like 4 or 5 arguments. Things that he's got going for him this time that he didn't in 2020, which frankly it looks like they cheated anyway, but he's got a lot more going for him this time than he did in 2020. So you think of this, that was as close as it gets, and he was hamstrung by 4 or 5 big things that aren't affecting him this year, and I can reel them off. First of all, we're not dealing with the pandemic anymore, so that's done and dusted. People aren't. The very stalwart conservatives, libertarian types, wouldn't vote for him after getting locked in. So there's that's gone. Elon bought Twitter, so he's not getting as aggressively censored by social media. So there's another one. Thirdly, they've ran the country like a drunk sailor for the last 4 years. So there's 3. I mean, he's got every advantage. The economy's terrible, cost of living's awful, petrol's expensive, eggs are expensive, milk's expensive, bread's expensive, everything's gone up. So there's another big one for him. He's got every advantage. He's got every advantage. But he can still lose because they can cheat, and this is what concerns me. Jenny, thanks for the laughs and have a good weekend. Same to you. Same to you. I'm off to Cape Canaveral, so I'm not going to be around, but that's why I'm streaming today. Thanks for the deep sea diver. Rest assured I will spend it on harsh metallic gin. All right, thanks very much. So yeah, he's got everything. He's got everything going for him. On paper, he should win by about 10 million votes. Like, I've never, even in California, which everyone says is ridiculously woke, the vast majority of people I know are Trump voters. At work, we were talking politics in the canteen at work yesterday. 8 out of 10 of them, Trump. Go to the pubs out here, 8 out of 10. Again, maybe I'm intimidating them by just being my usual brash, loudmouth self and saying to people at the bar, who are you voting for? You're not voting for that knobhead Kamala Harris, are you? Maybe people are lying. But it seems like he's got a massive advantage in every way you can think of. The economy's in tatters, illegal immigration's through the roof, crime's up, food's up, gas is up. Everything that shouldn't be up is well up, and everything that shouldn't be down is down. So it's obvious. It's obvious to me he's got a huge advantage. But they can cheat. What will be interesting, so Ron thinks it's going to be a walkover, but the cheat though, you know that the cheat. When I went to bed, he was winning by a landslide last time in 2020, and then you wake up, 347,000 votes came in overnight, and 339,000 of them were for Uncle Joe. Oh, whoa, that's it, he narrowly lost. That's weird, isn't it? My problem is, I don't think the Republican Party, this is just explaining my thought process. So I'm not saying that I think he's going to get less votes. I think he's going to get way more votes. But I'm still saying I think he's going to lose because I don't believe, and I'd like to be proven wrong, I don't believe that the rhinos that run the Republican Party want Trump to win. The likes of Mitch McConnell and, what's his name, that Lindsey Graham, and the FBI and the CIA and the Justice Department and the lawyers and the judges and the activists and the councillors, they don't want him to win. So how are they going to be working to stop the cheating? I don't see it. Oh, yeah, remember. Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, thanks for reminding me because I'm going to collect when you lose. They're not even going to be looking to stop them cheating. So if there was evidence that the Republican Party has put in tons of effort to stop them from cheating, then I'd be confident. But to my eyes, it looks like they haven't done. They haven't put any effort into stopping him cheating, to stopping them from cheating. So how do we prevent it? I just don't see it. I don't see how we can win when the state control, the mass media, the state, and Silicon Valley are all being colluding to cheat. So I don't see it. I don't see it happening. And there was evidence of that last week when Georgia threw out. In fact, shall I just look for that before I go? Let me have a quick look. Georgia law election. Here we are, look at this. So what will be interesting is if he manages to squeak it because of some other states and he's super popular, but he still loses Georgia because of all the most brazen cheating that went on last time. It looked like it was Pennsylvania and Georgia. And they're doing it now, look. It said, a Georgia judge on Monday put to rest long-simmering concerns that allies of Trump might wreak havoc on the presidential contest by refusing to certify election results. Fulton County Superior Court judge said that county election officials exercising a mandatory role when it comes to vote certifications, and there is no election superintendent that may refuse to certify or abstain from certifying election results under any circumstance. So what they're trying to do there to make it sound better is they've tried to pass laws to make it so they've got to physically hand count all the votes because they think they're going to cheat. And these judges just shoot them all down and go, oh, no. You can't require them to count the votes. Or you can't require them to bring photo ID. So isn't this proving my hypothesis right? Because every time it looks like you're trying to take steps to stop them from cheating, the legal system, because the swan protects itself, gets involved and says, no, you can't ask for ID. You can't ask for ID. If they're not going to cheat, why are they obsessed with making it so you don't need ID to vote and making it so you don't have to count the votes? I mean, think of that. Why would you want to stop people from counting votes? The only people that would want to stop you from counting the votes, surely, is people that are cheating. You know what I'm saying? I don't see any other reason to stop it. Let's have another good one. Okay, last-minute voting changes. NPR is trying to make it sound as if it's the GOP that you've got to worry about. They want to okay last-minute voting changes because it looks like you're cheating. That's what the last-minute voting changes are, to stop you from cheating. Look, Georgia's State Election Board preparing to vote on a dozen rule changes that could take effect before the election. Among the changes is a requirement that a polling place's manager and 2 witnesses hand count the ballots in every ballot box to verify the count matches the number. And they don't want it. So I'm putting this to the chat. Seriously, is there anybody in the chat that can give me a good, logical reason why anyone would be against that change? Other than, I want to cheat. Like, because I've been racking my brain and I can't think of one. You would think that'd be a bipartisan thing. If everybody was concerned about election integrity, you would think that would be a bipartisan thing. Both parties would go, oh yeah, what we should do is have the manager and 2 witnesses count all the ballots. But the Democrats go, no, we're going to take you to court and we're going to make it so these rules don't get implemented. So can anyone think of a good logical reason why you would do that if you weren't trying to cheat? Does anybody know? Can you think of anything? Like, I literally can't think of a single reason why I'd want it. But there it is. And then it said, look, other proposals include adding hand count of absentee ballots, yeah, because they cheat, requiring the public post registered voters in the upcoming election, and expanding access for poll watchers. And they got rid of them all. The Georgia Association of the Voters said the state board should pause implementing the new rules until after the election, gravely concerned that dramatic changes will disrupt the preparation. Cheating. That's just cheating, isn't it? All of them measures sound logical. None of them were like, oh, you should have to vote in a balaclava. Anything that would add confusion would be suspicious. And you'd be like, okay, why are we trying to add confusion? But all of that stuff just adds certainty. Manager has to count them. Witnesses have to be verifying them. Hand count of absentee ballots because they cheat. Requiring the public post registered voters. Expanding access for poll watchers. If you're not cheating, why are you opposed to expanding access for poll watchers? Anyone? I haven't seen any good answers. I want someone to tell me one. Give me one good reason why I should be against expanding access to poll watchers. It doesn't look like there are any, does it? Doesn't look like there are any. So, my offer of this bet still stands. Like, I'll take anyone's money. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to cheat. And if you can think of any logical reason why they would be against expanding poll watchers, then, yeah, I'm all ears. Anyway, I've got a boogie. I'm going to work. Ladies and gents, this has been my last stream for... oh, no, I think I'll be back Saturday. No, I won't. I'm out. I'm coming back Friday, and then me and my missus are off for my birthday. And I won't be back until a week after that. So this will be my last stream for a fortnight. All right, so I won't be back for 2 weeks. I'll see you then. I'll pre-record 2, maybe before I leave, so I've at least got something to show you next week. And other than that, I'll see you all in a fortnight on Saturday. All right? I hope Rotten Politics and Paz can keep the seat warm and give you something to do while I'm away. Alas, some of us have got to work for a living. We can't all be living in a council house in London because we're on the dole because we're from Somalia. All right? Sadly, if you look like me, you've got to work for a living. Okay? And thank you, Bert, for the birthday wishes. Okay, see you soon. 2 days. My birthday's 2 days before the call birthday. So there you go. I'm sure most of you know that one already, don't you? Cheers for watching. See you all in a fortnight. Have a good one and enjoy your weekends. Okay? Toodle pip. Cheers. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not on with you next Sunday. No, I'm not. Sunday, I'm not here. Oh, no, not that. No. Next Sunday. Yeah, I'm not. 26th. I'm not around next Sunday, so you'll have to skip it for a month, Rags, or do it the week after. Whatever. We'll figure something out. Okay. See you all soon. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.